Oh my gosh, it's high tide right now. I've actually never seen this place during a high tide. The water's always down there, but it's a beautiful morning. And welcome to Tala Talks, where I share my everyday thoughts and everyday experiences. I'm very excited for this video because in today's video, I'm gonna share with you my top 9 highlights of this trip here in Negros Oriental. And it's a bit bittersweet because I've had so many amazing memories. And you know, at the end of every trip, you will leave with those memories that you've created, like nothing else. So it's really important that you have a great time, you meet the right people. And I'm gonna go through with you those 9 amazing moments here in this moment in time. I hope you're able to enjoy the sound of the currents or the waves while in this video. I really made sure that we are as close to nature as possible, and I have to thank this beautiful tree. I wish I knew what kind of tree this is, for giving us shade and coolness. And as you can see, as you will see throughout the video, there's gonna be some birds just flying around. I do know or feel that this is their home. So yeah, they always just circle me. Initially, I thought that maybe they were trying to spook me away because they would just fly between the camera and myself, but I just realized they're just here. Maybe they're making friends. Maybe they know us already by now because I've made countless videos here. Maybe more than 10 videos already at this time. The first one on my list is yoga. That's the first highlight, I have to say. Although it is the second reason why I came here. The first reason is number 2, but I always make sure when I travel, I do something healthy because, you know, if you're traveling for long periods of time, and go check out that video where I just tell you what it's like being a full-time traveler. You know, it's not all about eating and lounging around, and it is a little bit, but a very small percentage. I always make sure to keep the body healthy, and the mind especially, and the spirit as well. And it's just so important for me to practice the lifestyle of yoga, and I'm not just talking about the asanas, but definitely the lifestyle, hopefully of the 8 limbs as well. If you know a little bit of yoga, I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about. But the highlight is being able to do it in this beautiful place called Anahaw over at Darwin, and they are the only place in this area where we're staying. This is our accommodation, by the way. We are right in front of the beach, baby. We are beachfront. We are paying a budgeted price, and I'm very, very grateful. Right across us as well as the mountains. But there's this beautiful place called Anahaw, and they're the only ones offering yoga in this area. So, you know, it's there are a lot of people who go. I would say not as full, but I'm really, really grateful. The restaurant as well is a vegan restaurant, so you don't have to be vegan to go there, but try out their yoga, try out their food as well if you fancy that. And I'm really grateful for being able to practice that here in this place. Number 2 on our list is my friend's wedding, Maverick. Oh, I'm so over the moon for him. And of course his wife, Windy. And that's the main reason actually why I came to Negros Oriental in the first place. I met Maverick about, I would say 6 years ago now. because yeah, both our love for nature, and we just happened to be at the same place at the right time. He was carrying a bunch of gadgets, and I spoke to him. I asked him, what are you doing? And we were along the beach at nighttime. Nobody else was there except for my other friend. And yeah, he told me he was doing astrophotography, which was taking photos of the Milky Way. And one thing led to another, and we've become friends ever since. Even during the pandemic, I interviewed him. I asked him about, you know, his love for astrophotography, and long story short, this Filipino wedding is amazing. I got to meet his aunt, Tita Leia. I got to meet his cousins. I got to meet a lot of his friends as well, and I just feel really grateful to be invited to that. It's not something that I get invited to all the time, especially outside of Metro Manila. And for me, I wanted to take advantage of that because, you know, his wedding was only one day. I decided, hey, I'll stay in Negros for 1 month. And because of that 1 month, I was able to come up with these 9 highlights. But yeah, definitely, this is the main reason why I'm here. And thank you, Maverick, for such a wonderful, amazing time. We were dancing under the rain for hours to this beautiful band that just chose all the right music, and we were having an amazing time. We were drenched. When I got home, I was filled with these pants. These pants were filled with so much mud. And people, I wish I took a video of it, but people's legs and feet and dresses were all soaked in mud. But that's part of the fun, and it's part of being in nature, and it's very rare that I get to experience something like that. It was very magical. Next on my list is seeing the fresh produce along the street, particularly, I wouldn't say produce, I meant to say the fresh seafood along the street. And I did see, what is it, a blue dotted ray? Please tell me if I'm wrong, but I was just, yeah, amused to see such creatures because I go diving, and when I see them alive in the water, I'm already very amused and fascinated. And then of course, for me to see them there in the market, they are poisonous, the tips of their stingers, but I did notice as well that they've been taken off. And I was told that they're very tasty. I didn't even bother to ask how much it is per kilo, but yeah, you'll just see a lot of different options along the street, and it gets very busy as well. By the time I left, there were so many people, and yeah, there's a lot of seafood available. And the next one on my list is the fresh produce. That's what's coming up, is the vegetables, the fruits that are available in the Sunday market over at Valencia. But it's not just in Valencia where they have amazing fruit and vegetables. I do hope I still have the photo. I know I took a photo, I don't know if I still have the video, but I bought all of these for 50 pesos or $1. And I have Asuke. Asuke is somebody who you frequently buy fruit and vegetables from. So it's kind of like this loyalty relationship that you have with the vendor. And yeah, she gave me a free cucumber because the tomatoes were worth 40 pesos. And I said, oh, can we include the cucumber for 50? And because my bill was one whole 50 peso, and she just put it all there. And it's something that you can see every Saturdays and Sundays over at Darwin. It's right next to the Darwin market along the street as well. And so yeah, I would highly recommend for you to support them. Also because, not just because I am biased, but also because I noticed that the prices are much cheaper. So for $1 for me to have fruit and vegetable worth for maybe 4 days, I'm really grateful for that. And I'm also grateful for the people here. They've always given me fair prices, and a lot of them think I'm not Filipino as well. And I really appreciate their honesty and their kind hearts for giving me a fair local price. I'd like to think it's local, but to me it's a very good price. It's very nice to see some kids swinging over there because it is high tide. They're able to enjoy the water on their feet while there's a rope and a tire hanging onto a tree like this. And yeah, it's just a very nice morning. And the next one on my list is I actually visited Dumaguete Boulevard the other day. And as you know, Dumaguete is very, very popular, especially amongst people who decide to retire in the Philippines. It's one of the top retirement destinations, I would say. Why? Because there's a hospital, there's a cinema, there's a university as well, there's an international school. They have all sorts of cuisines available, European bread, there's European cheese. There's an airport. They're building a second international airport. It's right next to Cebu. You know, it's just one ferry ride away, about 15 minutes, and I would say it's very, very strategically located. It's very convenient as well. I do notice that the water's getting a bit lower now, much lower than when we first started this video. But yeah, I visited the boulevard, and one thing particular that stuck out to me, and I think this is super important, is because kids nowadays don't seem to go out with their peers, and I'm pertaining to kids in Manila or in the city perhaps. And this is just based from my personal observation. And the kids here are so, like, especially my hosts' children, I love them. They are absolutely delightful. They're very articulate. They converse very well. They ask amazing questions to me, and they're not shy at all to express like what's on their mind. And they're one is 7 years old and the other one is 10 years old. And you know, when I see kids in Manila, they're very glued to their blue screens, and they don't even go out and hang out. So what I was wanting to say is, this highlight is I was very happy to see the youth being out and about doing martial arts. They were playing other forms of sports. They were just out with other kids their age, and they were enjoying life outside the blue screen or life outside the home. I think that the pandemic has changed the youth so much, and seeing a healthy group of young kiddos here, or teenagers, just being normal kids. And for me, I do know that there is hope, perhaps for these kids especially. So that's very nice. I've got a very nice story about this next one, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Long story short, I met this amazing person. Her name is Emily, about 6 years ago now, last 2018. And at that time, she was my dive instructor. And I absolutely love her energy. She's full of positivity. She's just such a ball of energy as well. I knew we clicked instantly. I was very drawn to her anyway. And a few years later, you know, because I talked to her about buying land here and living here and settling here, and a few years later she beat me to it. She ended up putting up her own resort. We talked about plans like that, and I remember when she went back to the US, she asked me if I wanted to be a partner. I said I would love to, but I just didn't think that I could do this or her kind of business long term. She has a dive shop, and it's just a beautiful place to be in. The whole place is surrounded by coconut trees. They have these very native looking accommodations, which really gives you that authentic Filipino experience. They've got this very delicious vegan restaurant as well, and you don't have to be vegan to eat there because her cheese, Chef Dana's cheese, is the bomb. I've never tasted anything that tastes like real Parmesan cheese. And the smoked tofu for me is really such a highlight. And so overall, I'm very proud of Emily, and it makes me so overwhelmed with joy each and every time I visit her. I see all the progress that happens, and it just melts my heart to pieces because I see that she's happy, I'm so happy, and you know that she's also living in the Philippines too, because who knows, like 6 years ago, what if she decided to leave the Philippines and I never saw her again? I'd have to visit her in the US, in good old Philly, over at Philadelphia, and I'm just happy that she's got a place here, a place that she can call her home, and a business of her own as well. I definitely have to put this under one of the highlights, and it's seeing other available accommodations for next time we do decide to visit this place again. I've been very lucky that the hosts were kind enough to give me a tour, and there's a lot of beautiful accommodations and resorts that you can stay that are next to the sea, and it just depends, of course, on your earnings. You might find it very affordable, but you also might find it very expensive. Again, I suppose pricing is relevant to how much you're earning. But I found this place on Airbnb. I decided to message the hosts. I got to see it right in person, and it's just incredible because if you've lived in the countryside of the Philippines long enough, you will know that there are power outs. And there are days when you won't have electricity, which means you won't have a water pump, which means water source or tap. You won't have Wi-Fi, obviously AC or a fan. Your fridge will go off. So this one place I saw actually has solar panels, and it's incredible. They've got everything that you need in the city. The solar panels are good enough to survive you one whole day of no power. Luckily though, in this place it's only a few hours, it's not the whole day. But in certain places in Mindanao, you will get power outs the whole day. So yeah, this one place that I saw, it's got all the conveniences. It's got all the conveniences. They will change your, oops, that very pretty bird just flew. Sorry, I got startled, but I don't actually know if they will like actually, but anyway. So they will change your beddings once a week, your pillowcases, your blankets, even your bath towels. So I mean, it's just incredible. And I don't want to just talk about that. There were other accommodations I saw as well that were made out of bamboo. It's very native. It's very, you know, it's roughing it, as Eddie would call it. Definitely, it's the complete opposite. It's over at a place called B Ternate, I guess, which stands for Blue Ternate. But yeah, it's just very, very nice to see all these different accommodations. Let me know if you have any questions. I did make a video specifically on 4 of those accommodations that you can stay in. I go into detail with the pricing, I go into detail with the names, the locations, everything you need to know. So do check that out. It's 4 budget beachfront accommodations that you can stay in over at Negros. And I think you might find it quite interesting. This next one I'm so excited to share with you because it doesn't usually happen. Or if you are into spirituality and yoga, you've probably heard of a full moon ceremony or a cacao ceremony, and that's pretty much what happened last night. And I'm forever grateful. Shout out to Teacher L who actually organized this. And in a place like this where there's only one yoga studio, what more of a cacao ceremony? And so I'm really glad that this happened, and just a brief history, and you can always do more research on this, but the reason why we do a cacao ceremony is because it's something that's been practiced years ago, ages ago, especially during a time when there was no electricity, and things were really all about community and your neighbors and the people people you live with. And so they would have these cacao rituals to honor not just the people around you, but your body, your spirit, your mind, even your emotions. It's got a lot of benefits, not just soul benefits, cacao, but it's got a lot of health benefits as well. There was an ecstatic dance that we did. And for me, it wasn't just about that. It's also being able to meet other people. I met so many amazing souls yesterday, and I'm not just talking about a very superficial level. I got to know what they actually want to do in life. A lot of them as well are Filipinos, but majority of them were were non-Filipinos. I got to know where they're from, what their what their agenda is in the Philippines. A lot of them actually are in this place called MCP, Marine Conservation Philippines. It's this place over at Zamboanguita, but they do a lot of conservation with the marine wildlife here, and I'm very grateful for that as well. It's a good exposure for them. It's a good way for them to get to know the Philippine culture. And overall, it's just all good vibes. You know, if something feels right, you can feel the love, then do it. Yeah, so that's one of the highlights. The cacao ceremony is amazing. Well, this video is coming to an end. I'm down to my last highlight, and it's none other than this accommodation right here. I've created so many videos. I've given you guys a tour of this place. It's called Drill Shack, and I am so grateful for the hosts. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'll be flashing photos here, maybe even videos, but I just have so many memories here. Imagine 1 month, 31 days to be specific. The hosts were so kind enough to fetch me from the airport. They have granted all my requests, which is not much really, just a kettle, coffee maker. And I mean, more than anything, it's just the vibe that they give. It's so positive. They're very switched on. They've got a good sense of humor. We laugh together. The kids are amazing. It fills my heart with so much love and joy and positivity, and I just have to thank Drill Shack from the bottom of my heart for giving me such a wonderful stay. I would absolutely recommend this place, and yes, I am biased because I've had a very good experience firsthand. And in a non-biased form, look at where we are. You can go swimming anytime. I see kids swimming here all the time, especially when it's low tide. And there's a beautiful pool there as well. I'll end the video with the swimming pool so you can see. But it is a beautiful place, and I have to thank Drill Shack. Thank you again. And with that said, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you thought this was informative and if you'd like to do the same things, please do so. If you are lucky enough to be in such a wonderful paradise like we are in now, please visit Negros Oriental. I'm not originally from here. I'm originally from the city. But I love this place. I've been coming back for the past 6 years. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be coming back until I am old and gray. I love this place so much. But sending you lots of love. Ciao for now and have a wonderful day.